Alright everyone, welcome to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be pulling up the most important chart that everyone, in my opinion, needs to keep their eyes on for Smooth Love Potion. We're going to jump into that last. I just did do this comparison over on Axie Infinity as well. So if you are looking for Axie Infinity updates alongside SLP, then check out my channel. I do provide both alongside a plethora of other altcoins. So let's jump right into the Smooth Love Potion priced against the US dollar. And then we're going to talk about that very important chart that I did mention at the beginning of the video. So first of all, I want to jump over to the weekly time frame, and we can start off like this. You can see, your EMA ribbons have only just loaded in and they are coming in bearish completely. Obviously, I mean, SLP has really been in a landslide, at least since it started trading over on Binance. Now, if we look at the volume is very indicative of price, and the fact that, if we extrapolate like a line of best fit, you can see that the volume is exponentially increasing at this moment in time. This is indicative that SLP has further to go down before we do find a bottom. And if we do look at our momentum indicators, we'll be focusing on the squeeze mom for this one. A lot of people use the MACD. I prefer the squeeze mom, and as you can see, the squeeze mom has been fading into dark red, which is indicative that we are in a bearish wave, but the bears are losing momentum. And as we've come in with this light red wave, what this simply means is the bears were kind of taking a breather, almost like if you were, doing bench press at the gym, you take like a minute out to, wait out your next set, you drink a Red Bull, and then you come back in for your next bench press. You're going to have more strength because you've just taken a rest, and you should be able to push more. In theory, this is kind of what the squeeze mom indicates when you do take these breathers. Very, very strange comparison, but that is just what came to my head. So hopping over to the daily time frame, we're seeing something very, very similar on your momentum indicators. Once again, bears are clearly in control. They've taken another breather between their set, and as you can see, momentum is once again coming in. On the weekly time frame, tons of bearish volume, or what I mean by that is on the daily time frame in the past week, it really has been a plethora of bearish volume, which is why we're seeing this is, genuinely red. And also interestingly, on the weekly time frame, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red candles in a row now. Now, granted, that is the exact same as what Bitcoin's doing. In fact, Bitcoin is currently on its 7th in a row. So very, very nasty stuff going on right now. But against SLP USD, a couple of videos ago, we were predicting that we were going to keep on breaking down. We had this price target as, I believe this was your low at the time. Oh, this was your 1.618 Fibonacci. And the worrying thing about this is we have broken out of a huge asymmetrical triangle. And as you can see, you extrapolate the price target. Let me make this straight, also goes down this way. You can see from the breakdown, the target is in the minuses, so the target's invalid, but this would basically be saying we'd be going to 0. I don't think SLP is going to 0. Saying that though, we are at like 0.00 something. I don't necessarily think this will survive a bear market if we do enter one, but I definitely think that we shouldn't be trading altcoins at this moment in time with the general market consensus of all of the altcoins looking very bearish. We flipped this on an inverse scale, and this is something I love to do because a lot of people, if they're invested into something, it's very, very difficult looking at a chart you're emotionally invested into and seeing the price go down. Sometimes your brain can trick you into seeing things that are bullish, but you flip the chart, you make it on an inverse scale, and your brain looks at the chart from a fresh perspective, and you remove the emotions, and you can very much see that we are in a huge uptrend. In fact, on the inverse scale, this was your all-time high, and as we flipped it, we've come back, we've retested the 1.618, and now we're heading up. So technically speaking, we're in price discovery to the upside, but you invert the scale again and you realize we're actually in price discovery to the downside. So I do not think now is the right time to dollar cost average SLP after we've literally confirmed a breakout of the all-time high. That would kind of be like if Bitcoin finally next bull cycle flips above the previous all-time high at 69,000, and then you're like, I know what to do, let me sell now even though we're probably going to go higher as we just flipped it. It doesn't make sense, and it's the inverse to that as well while you do flip to price discovery in the downside. I do think we have lower to go. The unfortunate thing about this is there's no more Fibonacci price targets. And what I mean by that is, you know, this was the most recent micro impulse we had. If I use this one, then the price target would be much, much further down. But you can see this was your last Fibonacci target. There is no more price targets. There's no more moving averages. There's no more trend lines that can capitulate down to these levels. I mean, we could try and extrapolate something like this, but I imagine by the time you come down to these levels, it's going to be in the minuses anyway. So there is no trend line on the USD pair. I do think that SLP against the USD is going to massively capitulate within the next week. So what is this most important chart I've been talking about for SLP at the start of the video? Well, unfortunately, I'm not able to pull it up on TradingView simply because there is not an SLP BTC pair. There was for Axie Infinity. Like I said, we compared this earlier on in the video that I just recorded. If you do want Axie updates as well, check out my channel. I do provide both Axie and SLP. But what I want to show you is if we come over to CoinMarketCap and we measure Smooth Love Potion against the Bitcoin pair. So you might be thinking, well, why would we measure things against Bitcoin when we want to be, you know, measuring things against the US dollar? Well, I like to look at how altcoins value against the Bitcoin pairs, because this is my take on things. If you are investing in an altcoin, you're investing in something that's way more risky than Bitcoin, and that's okay, but the reason why you would invest in an altcoin and not Bitcoin is because Bitcoin would not yield you the same returns as an altcoin if it was exceptionally bullish. But that being said, you want to invest in an altcoin that's outperforming Bitcoin. Otherwise, you're taking on all this extra risk and it's not even paying off. So you might as well be holding Bitcoin because there's almost zero risk to that, in my opinion. So if you've got an altcoin and you're holding it and it's not performing well against Bitcoin, then what is the point in holding it? You're taking on tons of extra risk and you're just being bled out of your money. I think Bitcoin's here to stay, so I think we should be measuring our altcoins against the Bitcoin valuations. And as you can see, you know, if I come over to the past month, massively capitulating. We're obscenely down in the past month. You know, even on the daily time frame, we're down 15% against the Bitcoin pair. We are massively capitulating. 7 days, you can see huge landslide. You know, this was all the way up here at 314. Now we're down here at, you know, 15, 16. It's been capitulated by 50% in the past week. You come over to the monthly, 3 monthly, yearly, year to date, and you can just see it's wholeheartedly capitulating against Bitcoin. So in my opinion, I do not think now is the right time to be picking up altcoins. Every altcoin, whether it's Axie Infinity, Solana, SLP, they're all capitulating massively against Bitcoin. And I've been saying this in my videos, but this breakdown that we're experiencing out of this triangle pattern is exactly like we saw in this mass capitulation down here. And this wick that's being brought up at this moment in time very much reminds me of when I was here in 2017 and everyone FOMO'd back into altcoins the week of the breakdown. You know, we got a slight buyback up. The next weekly candle came in and everything capitulated. No one had any more money to buy the dip, and we kind of just lollygagged for a couple of months down at the bottom here. And I think that something like that is going to play out down these levels for Bitcoin. What does that mean? That means that your altcoin pairs are going to get absolutely slaughtered, and that's what we're already seeing with Smooth Love Potion against Bitcoin. So that is what I wanted to show you. I think it's very important that we start measuring these altcoins against their Bitcoin pairs, because like I said, you're taking on a ton of extra risk by picking up altcoins, and if they're not outperforming Bitcoin, then what is the point? You might as well buy Bitcoin. That's all I've got for you. Best of luck, cowboy out. Hope you found some value in this video. As always, peace.